Now for our feature story of the day. The headline from CNBC reads, how Trump was orange-pilled by 3 Bitcoiners in Puerto Rico, and the promise of $100 million. So yeah, this is actually the headline here today. You should be able to see on your screen. So here we go. A block away from the neon-lit buzz of Lower Broadway, where honky-tonk pours onto the city's main drag at all hours, stands Music City Center, a venue that's hosted everything from craft beer conferences to performance by legendary Dolly Parton. And in late July, the complex filled up for something entirely different. We're talking about the biggest Bitcoin conference of the year. And the headline act was none other than former President Donald Trump, who made some big announcements regarding Bitcoin adoption for the United States, stockpiling the biddy, freeing Ross, firing Gary Gensler, and all that good stuff. But yeah, for nearly 50 minutes on a Saturday afternoon, in which we covered on the live stream. We actually shared that broadcast live. It was actually pretty lit. If you missed it, you got to definitely check it out. Trump had a pretty lit speech, but the greatest speech, RFK Jr., was even that much more lit. But nonetheless, here we go. So what a second Trump administration would mean for the crypto industry: to a packed crowd of conference goers who spent hours getting through the Secret Service's tight security protocol. That's right. There was like a delay. I think Trump was delayed like an hour, and he's like, I'm not going to rush Secret Service this time, because a week or two prior, they almost took his life on that assassination attempt. So yeah, if crypto is going to define the future, I want it to be mined, minted, and made in the United States of America, Trump declared in a message targeted to the industry Bitcoin miners who secure the network by running large banks of high-powered machines. We will be creating so much electricity that you'll be saying, please, please, President, we don't want any more electricity. We can't stand it. So very bold prediction there. The speech, which read like it was straight out of a Bitcoiner's Bible, was quite the about face for an ex-president who 3 years earlier dismissed the crypto as a scam. Trump was no doubt lured by the potential of huge amounts of donor money from an industry that sees itself as under constant attack from the Biden-Harris administration and the heavy regulatory hand of SEC Chairman Gary Gensler. You're fired, Gary. Trump told the audience in Nashville that he'd raised $25 million in crypto-related funds, a number that CNBC hasn't been able to independently verify. In turning Trump from a skeptic into a sudden Bitcoin evangelist took the work behind closed doors of a small army of Bitcoiners and other crypto advocates who were able to maneuver their way into the candidate's inner circle. Now, here's what I find the most interesting. In particular, 3 friends in Puerto Rico, home of JV, came together to try and convince the Republican presidential hopeful of Bitcoin's value and to eventually make that position loud and clear to a key audience in Nashville. Because at the time, the rumor was this was the doing of, what's his name, Ramsawani, Vivek. They're like, Vivek is in his ear. Vivek is in his ear. He's orange-pilling the Trump. He's orange-pilling the Trump. Well, according to this source, and I don't know which is true now, it's 3 individuals from Puerto Rico, where JV lives. So that's what got my attention here. So anyways, in Bitcoin parlance, Trump was orange-pilled. It's a play on the phrase red pill from The Matrix. In the movie, the main character, Neo, is given the choice of taking the red pill, which offers access to the unsettling truth about the world, or he can take the blue pill, which signifies a false but far more conforming version of reality. Facts. And the orange pill, of course, we got to orange pill the masses with the biddy. Orange pill refers to the Bitcoin official color, represents a person's dedication to the Bitcoin over fiat currencies within the matrix. Confidence, Bitcoin family members or friends and colleagues united their mission to orange pill Trump, where the trio of Puerto Rico residents, here's the residents: Amanda Fabiano, shout out Amanda, the shadow chief of Bitcoin miners; Tracy Hoyos Lopez, a former California prosecutor, even more interesting; and David Bailey, the CEO of media group Bitcoin Inc., and the organizer of the conference in Nashville. I didn't know that. So the Bitcoin Magazine CEO, David Bailey, lives in Puerto Rico. Shout out Puerto Rico, eh? Earlier this year, Bailey promised to turn out $100 million and 5 million votes for Trump. CNBC is told an update on fundraising numbers is coming soon. They probably raised a fortune. And over Memorial Day weekend at the steakhouse called Bottles and de Guaynabo. Oh my God. I'm in the suburb of Guaynabo. Small world. The 3 began mapping out a plan. They shared family-style dishes. Shout out Guaynabo, Guaynabo. Guaynabo is a great place, by the way, here in Puerto Rico. Here's how Fabiano recounted the initial exchange to CNBC. We were at dinner with a bunch of people, and David was like, hey, I've been talking to the administration, and I want to do a roundtable on mining. Can we discuss it this weekend? Bailey had spent months in dialogue with the Trump campaign, swapping Bitcoin briefs and messages. He was about to make a 1,600-mile trek to meet the former president for the first time at the Trump Tower in Manhattan, and was keen to deliver details of a potentially lucrative fundraiser and the miners working group featuring some of the top CEOs of the industry. It would serve as a prelude for what was to come in Nashville. Now, Hoyos Lopez, Bailey's neighbor, had been recently orange-pilled and was anxious to help out in any way she can get in getting Trump to Nashville. She happened to have a contact in the Trump orbit who was willing to make the introduction. Meanwhile, Fabiano's history in Bitcoin mining was important and given the group street cred. Quoting her here, without Amanda, we wouldn't have had this legitimacy to sell that this is a legitimate business, said Hoyos Lopez. She is the mining queen. She's got all the miners. Now, Hoyos Lopez added that many miners are former Wall Street execs, quoting him or her here. If you want to be taken seriously, you have to take serious people, and it doesn't get any more serious than the miners. The Trump campaign didn't respond to multiple inquiries about Trump's latest crypto fundraising stats, his changed views on Bitcoin, and the event leading up to his appearance in Nashville. So I take it that must be one of the ladies reference, one of the three to Orange Pill. Yeah, that is. So that's Tracy Hoyos Lopez and Amanda Fabiano snapping a quick photo before their smartphones were confiscated ahead of the crypto industry roundtable with Donald Trump in Nashville. So shout out to those ladies, and shout out Puerto Rico making big moves. So yeah, who we would put in the room? Bitcoin and some other cryptos are created by miners around the world running high-powered computers that collectively validate transactions simultaneously to create the new tokens. Their massive physical presence shows up in the form of sprawling data centers across the globe and offers a tangible image for newbies to understand the otherwise abstract technology. Fabiano described it as a natural fit when thinking about how to explain Bitcoin to Donald Trump in a way that makes sense. Bitcoin often gets a bad rap for the amount of energy it consumes, which is just shy of how much power Egypt uses annually. Well, wow. So using as much as the country of Egypt. But as mining requires tremendous amounts of energy, the industry is developing innovative methods for producing and sharing it. For example, geothermal, which they have over in El Salvador. Miners can partner with utilities in a way that allows them to return energy to the grid. When there's excessive demand, they can sell it back. There's also utilizing untapped sources of renewable energy, often concentrated in remote parts of the country, helping to create an economy in areas which would otherwise be dormant. That could all lead the U.S. to becoming a greater producer of energy, which is of particular importance to satisfy the needs of the artificial intelligence boom. Bailey confirmed that he flew to New York to meet with Trump, but he wouldn't share specifics about what he said in the meeting. Smart man. Now, what's clear is that soon thereafter, Trump agreed to host about a dozen crypto executives and experts for 90-minute roundtables in the small tea room at his Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach, Florida. That meeting took place in mid-June, 2 weeks after the dinner at Bottles. Now, to get Trump on board with the big shindig in Nashville, Bailey, Fabiano, and Hoyos Lopez knew they needed the right mix of people to clearly explain the virtues of mining and to convince the nominee that donations would be large enough to make the event worth his time. Quoting them here, it was like, who would we put in the room? Who would be the best people to explain this, right? Who would be willing to put dollars up, kind of put their skin in the game? And that was how it all got started. And those who committed to going pitched in $500,000 apiece to the fundraising committee, according to multiple attendees. But there you have it, yo. We're going to end it there. But as you already know, Trump is bullish on Bitcoin, regardless how he got orange pilled. Seems accurate to me, that story. Again, that's published from CNBC. David Bailey, the CEO of Bitcoin Magazine, who put on the event, would only make sense that, he was part of the orange pilling and those two ladies. But it's kind of even more crazy that it happened here in Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico, let's go.